In 2015, Iowa's largest drinking water provider elected to sue farm drainage districts in 3 counties upstream, alleging excess nitrate runoff from fertilizers plagues efforts to comply with federal guidelines. The Raccoon River is the major source of potable water for 500,000 ratepayers in the vicinity of the state's capital city, Des Moines. Trial awaits this spring.
We're very confident that these are clear point source groundwater polluters that are coming from agricultural use.
While the overlap of various Environmental Protection Agency guidelines allows for an astute argument as to responsibility on the issue, the electoral wave that brought Donald Trump into office could see an undoing of clean water protections under Scott Pruitt, the new president's pick to lead EPA. Regardless, many in rural America remain proactive. Various producers, commodity groups, and politicians at the local and national level have called for widespread adoption of voluntary conservation methods, a strategic bypass against any potentially intrusive new laws. And though water quality efforts went nowhere in last year's assembly, many expect the Iowa legislature to finally take action in 2017.
I'm not sure a lot of people in Iowa even knew where Calhoun County was before this lawsuit.
But farmer and author Darcy Malsby, who traces her lineage to a century farm near the small town of Yetter in one of the counties named in the lawsuit, hopes a dose of rural hospitality could help mend fences.
I'd noticed this growing trend towards this rift between rural Iowa and urban Iowa, and that really troubled me.
Malsby envisioned a journey, bringing farm and city stakeholders together to help elevate the level of discourse. And after partnering with local nonprofit Iowa Food and Family Project, the Iowa Soybean Association, and several other food industry groups, tourists of diverse backgrounds loaded up in Des Moines early one morning last summer for the maiden voyage of Expedition Yetter.
A lot of people think Iowa's flat, but if you look a little closer, it really isn't. It has a lot of undulation to the landscape.
Factoids about rural America were sprinkled throughout the bus ride.
You will find that soybean oil is the #1 ingredient in your Hellmann's mayonnaise. The soybeans that are grown that produce the oil for that product are sourced from a 60-mile radius around Des Moines, Iowa. Welcome. How are you? Thanks for coming on board.
The first stop on the tour was Bruce Westling's family farm outside Grand Junction.
We believe in what we do and we consume the products that we raise, and I want other people to feel safe doing the same thing.
Westling shared the intricacies of his row crop and pig operations, explaining how manure management plans help livestock owners safeguard against health concerns and abide by natural resource regulations.
You know, I feel like our operation's kind of a complete circle from growing the corn, feeding the livestock, putting the nutrients back on the soil.
Former University of Iowa and NFL quarterback Chuck Long hitched a ride as well. He marveled at the culmination of knowledge found on today's farms.
It's just fascinating what, with technology now and the machinery that they use, how streamlined and precise they can get.
Nostalgia sprouted for one Sioux City school teacher who shared family memories of hard work.
My dad did farm drainage tiling a long time ago. In the 80s, and so there was no GPS then, and I helped him quite a bit.
We have this underground drainage system.
Agri-Tourism ventures like Expedition Yetter have grown in popularity over recent years. According to USDA's 2012 Census of Agriculture, more than 33,000 farms integrated tourism and recreational services into their repertoire. As of the last available figures, activities like winery tours, hay rides, hunting, and fishing represent over $700 million in annual revenue for enterprising American landowners, a nearly $150 million increase over 2007's Ag Census numbers. So far, the largest returns have come mostly in western states, which earned revenues of up to $24 million in certain counties. By contrast, Iowa tops out annually around $350,000. But again, USDA figures are now several years old. Organizers like Malsby see more opportunities for migrations through the countryside, citing the demand for reconciliation of rural and urban issues.
If you think about it, the air that we're breathing is 78% nitrogen. Those plants will take that nitrogen out of the air, fix it, and use it to help their own growth.
Rounding out the jaunt, bus riders visited David Osberger's 1,700-acre corn and soybean operation near Jefferson. A fourth-generation producer, Osberger and his family have practiced no-till farming for decades to minimize erosion.
And I'm really conscientious about soil compaction.
Osberger has converted unproductive land to wetland habitat, added buffer strips, and cover crops. He says the approach benefits nature and future farm generations, but admits it takes a strong level of commitment to stay on track.
So it's a whole systems approach, and it's not something that you go into lightly.
As farmers attempt to chip away at looming litigation with voluntary efforts, many agree time is the most precious commodity of all. Farm community members say there are no quick fixes for ever-present nitrates in Corn Belt creeks and streams. And if Des Moines Waterworks should win, farming could go under a regulatory microscope. But some see the benefits of a spotlight shining on Iowa agriculture.
In a way, I'm glad that the lawsuit has put the attention on agriculture because we can show how complex this whole water quality issue is. We're happy to open up the barn door and invite people in. Yay! We're all Iowans, we're all in this together.
For Market to Market, I'm Josh Bittner.